How to stay positive when life gets hard. There's gonna be so many moments in life where difficult things are thrown your way. And this could be anything. This could be a death of a family member. This could be you lost your job. Your business is not doing well. Maybe you have some issue with your relationship, whether it be your wife or your girlfriend or your friends. There's some kind of tension. Something's not going right. How do you continue to be happy? I'm reading a book right now. It's actually called The Untethered Soul. This is probably the 15th time I'm reading this book. I've read this book so many times. I almost know it like the back of my hand, but not quite, because every single time I read it, I pick up on something new. And one of the things he says in this book is that happiness is a choice. Okay, it is a choice. Most people don't understand this. I just choose to be happy. That's it. Okay? And life circumstances may come and go. Okay? There might be some positive things happening in life. There might be some negative things happening in life. You have to do your best to allow yourself to be happy. I say allow yourself to be happy because a lot of people, they get to a point in life where they're like, with the way my life is going, how could I be happy? I can't be happy, right? And that's a decision that you make in your mind. You're like, I can't be happy with this, and that happening, right? But the truth is that you can, okay? Because so many of us have such positive, beautiful things happening in our lives that we don't even pay any attention to. That's one of the biggest problems, is that as humans, we're wired to view all the things that are wrong with our lives instead of focusing on the things that are beautiful about our lives. And that's very, very important to really understand and really, really understand, right? There are things that you're doing every single day that you just do without even thinking about it. You don't spend a second to be grateful for those things. For example, taking a hot shower. A lot of this world doesn't have hot water. But for us, we're like, oh, should we take that stuff for granted? What about having your health? How massive is that? Having your health. There are people in the hospital right now, in a hospital bed, right? Being told by some doctor that they have 2 weeks to live. And in this book, The Untethered Soul, it talks about something like this. He goes, in the hospital bed, there are people being told this, right? You have 2 weeks to live. And that person in the hospital bed says to the doctor, can I just go outside one more time? Just to look at the sky and the trees, to feel the rain. Maybe it's raining. Feel the rain on my body. Let me just do that one more time, please. And that person, when they're on their deathbed, understands that I should have been more grateful for the life that I had. And another thing I want to talk about, actually, specifically on that book, The Untethered Soul, he says death can come and take your life at any point. And this is something really important to understand. That person you may have talked to today might be the last person you ever talk to. The meal you ate might be the last meal you ever eat. Everyone has died in different kind of ways, right? And everyone will die. Every single person watching this video, you will die one day, right? So it's really, really important to keep that in your mind, but in a positive way, not in a way like, oh, damn, it sucks, man. I'm going to die one day. What the hell's the point of everything? Not that kind of way. But in the way I need to appreciate every single thing that's happening today, the friends that I see, the people that I spend time with, because I'm going to die one day. I'm going to appreciate it right now, right? Just imagine death as a person, like in his black suit, right? He comes whenever he wants to come. You can't stop him, right? If he decides this is your time, then he's going to come and grab you. This person in the black suit, Mr. Death. This example is straight out of the book, The Untethered Soul. Imagine he comes and tells you, you're going to die tomorrow. And you look at death and you're saying, wait a second, hold on, I'm not ready to die yet. Give me at least one more week. You're begging him. Give me one more week. And then death says back to you, what do you mean? I gave you 52 weeks in the last year alone. And that's not even counting all the other weeks that I gave you. What did you do with those? That's what death says to this person. And that part in the book hit me really hard, right? It's one of those things, if you're in a situation where you're just in a massive routine and you're not really doing anything new and stuff like that, and you're just kind of taking life for granted, you're seeing your friends be like, yeah, whatever, you know. If you're in that kind of mindset, then you're not really living life to the fullest. You're not enjoying those moments that are coming to you. So it's really all about trying to enjoy those moments, right? And it's about understanding already how good we have it. The people that are healthy and watching this video, okay? You're not dying. Nobody told you were dying. You're healthy enough to be at home and living life. That already is something to be grateful for, right? I'm sure a lot of people watching this video, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people watching this video have at least one person that really, truly loves them and cares about them. Probably multiple people, right? Why don't you focus on that a little bit more throughout your day? Let's say you're feeling sad about something. Maybe something comes up and you're like, I don't feel good about this something. Take a step back and be like, you know what? I've got wonderful people in my life. Maybe I have a wonderful dog. I don't know. Maybe you have a wonderful cat. I have a cat. You know, it's a wonderful cat. And just looking at the cat kind of makes me happy. She's kind of sitting back there. It's kind of nice just to even look at that animal, right? Because there's just so much love there. And so that's really what I'm getting at here, is that you really need to understand and appreciate all the beautiful things that you already have in your life that you're not really looking at. There's one example I actually want to get to is when I was at a Tony Robbins seminar, I want to say a few years ago, I remember this vividly, okay? I was at this seminar and he sometimes goes into the crowd and just asks people questions and whatever. And I remember he was talking to this lady. And this lady seemed like a wealthy lady, okay? She was in like the front row, like she had an expensive ticket and stuff like that. She had a family, she had a couple kids, she had her husband there. And he was talking to this lady, and this lady seemed miserable. And he was kind of asking her a question, trying to dig up like, what's going on? Why are you so upset at everything? What's wrong? And then she started listing all the reasons. Well, the kids don't do this, and they're not listening to me. You know, my husband is this, that, and the other thing. And Tony Robbins was like, it sounds like you just have a playbook of excuses as to why you're not allowed to be happy. Like, it's all nonsense. All of it is nonsense. Like, he just told her straight up. He's like, this is all garbage. You know, there's no, you're making all these rules inside your head for why you're not allowed to be happy, and thinking to yourself, I'll only be happy if my kids do exactly what they say. They never make any trouble. They kind of sit down when I tell them to sit down. They shut up when I tell them to shut up. My husband is exactly the way I want him to be at every single situation. Tony Robbins is like, you're making it impossible to be happy with all those rules and things that have to happen for you to kind of feel content and satisfied with your life. And the funny thing was, about 10 minutes later, he goes to someone else, and this person is in a wheelchair. It's an older man in a wheelchair. Someone that has been told that he's never going to be able to walk again. Was it in a car accident? I don't remember exactly if he lost his legs or just his legs just weren't working or whatever it was. But then he started asking this guy. And this guy was over the moon. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this, guys. It was unbelievable. This guy in the wheelchair was just like, I'm just so happy. And like Tony Robbins was just asking him a question, like, why are you so happy? What's going on? And he just kept coming back to me. He's like, listen, I'm breathing air. I'm living life. What more could I ask for? And that was when that big point was made in that seminar that Tony Robbins was trying to get through to everybody. You should be happy just to be alive. Everything else is a wonderful bonus. There are wonderful other things in life. A lot of wonderful things in life. But being alive, breathing air, that in itself should already make you happy. And if it doesn't, then come back to that. Come back to that throughout your day. Let's say you're having a rough day. Come back to that. Come back to the fact that you're alive. You're healthy enough to be breathing. Maybe you can walk, right? If you can walk, like just imagine that guy if he's able to walk. Just imagine that guy in the wheelchair. If one day somebody told him, you know what, man? You could actually walk like a normal human. You can walk down the street. You can take your dog around the block and stuff like that. He'd be like, whoa, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my life. He would probably be the happiest person on earth. And he's already happy not walking. So just imagine that, right? So what's the difference between those two viewpoints? That's a very big thing to really focus on. The one lady, seemingly rich, kids, husband, had everything she said she wanted, and she just wasn't happy and satisfied because she made all these bullshit rules in her mind as to why she's not allowed to be happy, and she lets all these things bother her, right? And then this other guy, he doesn't care about anything. He's like, let the kids cry. I don't need a spouse. It doesn't matter. I'm just happy to be here on earth and breathe air. That's it. So it's really about one person having all these expectations and wanting things in a certain way, and this other person just completely letting go and doesn't care like how good or bad things are in their reality. They've just made the decision, I'm gonna be happy because I'm not gonna let anybody bring down my mood. I'm not gonna let people bother me. If people are bothered, that's their thing. I'm gonna continue to be happy. And if you make that choice, yes, it's not always gonna be just pure happiness. It's not realistic, guys. That's another thing I want to quickly talk about before we wrap up this video. It's not realistic to be happy 100% of the time, okay? Anybody who tells you that they're happy 100% of the time is absolutely full of shit, okay? This is life. We're all humans. We feel emotions. There are days where we feel like shit. There might even be weeks where things are not going well and you don't feel good. But here's the thing that I've realized in life. It's a lot easier, okay, to come back to happiness when you're in one of those funks. I call it a funk. When you're in a funk where like a day goes by, 2 days go by, a week goes by, and you're just like, I don't know, I just don't feel like myself. I don't feel that happy the last week, the last month or whatever. You're just like, I don't know, this is a rough period of life for whatever reason. It doesn't matter the reason. You always come back to gratitude. What are the things you're happy about? What are the things that are beautiful in your life? Focus on that specifically, not the things that are wrong. The kids are making noise, the husband's doing this. Focus on the beautiful things in life. Look at the sky behind me. This is insane. This is insane, right? Some people in the hospital right now with the curtains down and whatever, they would kill to be out here, in the beautiful, there's green trees out here, there's nice buildings. They would kill to be out here, okay? Right? If you have legs, you can walk outside. breathe the air, look at the trees, and just really try your best to enjoy everything that's right in front of your nose that you usually take for granted. And I'll see you guys in the next video.